The WOR. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Meltzer.
How you doing?
Okay. I'm just going to tell you something that you probably heard a million times, but
What's that?
Sunday was the first time I had listened to your show.
Thank
I found
you.
it very interesting.
Thank you.
Now, the question I have for you. We're recently going to be coming into some money from a house,
You're right.
and I'd like to know how we can reinvest it other than another house, a co-op.
All right. Tell me how much money is involved.
Well, actually, it's a split. This is money that my wife will be receiving from her ex-husband on a house that they had owned.
Oh, I see. How much money will be involved?
Roughly, it should be around $31,000.
Now, are you living in a house now?
No, we're living in an apartment.
Okay. Why aren't you considering buying a house?
Well, I'm 55, and I really don't think
Don't
it's the
feel-
time of life to go into that.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Tell me a little bit. What's your income? Your income, combined income of the family?
Well, between me and my wife, we both work. I'd say we're 40 to 45,000.
40 to 45. What's your total assets?
We don't have any.
You're broke.
Nothing to talk about, anyhow. Let's put it that way.
Then it's very obvious at age 55 with very few assets, that $30,000 that you're going to get has got to go into a nice savings.
Well, it's not. That 30 will be split. We're not going to.
So you get 15.
We're talking about 15.
Well, in that case, even more than ever, it's going to go into this account.
Right, but that'll become taxable.
Well, sure, but on the other hand, you've got to get yourself an umbrella, a safety umbrella, which you don't have now at all.
Well, I do have an IRA.
Well, but that IRA is not coming out for another 4.5 years. You can't take it out, as you know, before 59.5.
Oh, yes, I realize.
But I would say prudence indicates that the $15,000 go into something like I would put $10,000 into a 30-month CD.
30-month CD?
Or I might put all of $15,000 into a 30-month CD.
But
it'll draw a yield of over 15%. And it's available to you when you want it, because many of these 30-month CDs, you can draw the money out when you need it. And one of our sponsors, for example, up to 95% of the principal. Mm-hmm. And it's safe, it's insured.
The only thing that I like to question is the fact that I recently read something that at the age 55, if a home is sold, that there
is a one-time capital gains
right.
exemption of up to $125,000. Yes, that's true.
So how would this affect? Now, the house the check would probably be made out under my wife's name.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I'm 55, would that have any effect on it?
In other words, that affects it a lot.
It will affect
But I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if I'd want to use it up because the exemption there is very small, number one. Number two, there's nothing to do with capital gains because you're getting this as an inheritance, aren't you? Oh, no, you're getting this as a split of a marriage.
This is a split of a marriage, right.
Yep, your wife is... Now, the question, what's the house worth now? Or what was it sold for?
In the 60s.
What was it bought for?
24.
So the capital gains are so tiny. Let's say it was bought for 25.
Right.
And it was sold for 60.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore you walked away with a net of 35.
Right.
In this case, a net of 31.
Mm-hmm.
Down the middle, that's $15,000 each.
Right.
The most you'll pay on this thing is $3,000.
Really? That's all?
And capital gains. That's the most, not pay. The most that you could pay.
Uh-huh.
But you probably would not pay that much. And to use up a $100,000 one-time exemption for a little thing like this worries me. Because even though you say you're not ready to buy a house, but you might buy a condominium sometime. Mm-hmm. You might buy a co-op.
Right.
You might buy a retirement home or something like that. Would it be nice to use it?
You're so right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
By the way, is there any chance my wife can get a couple of your T-shirts?
You can get 2 T-shirts.
Beautiful.
Thanks
a lot.
Bye-bye.